Hey everybody, I'm your host Tom Nicita, and welcome to episode 7 of the Feb4 Sports Show. There's plenty that went on this past weekend in sports, so let's dive straight into it. Firstly, starting with the NRL, there were plenty of big games this weekend that again changed the table similar to last week. I don't think that there were any games bigger or more impactful than the Cowboys against the Storm. The Cowboys picked up a really good win, 36-6. As a Storm supporter, I copped a lot of slack on TikTok, and rightfully so. The Storm just weren't good enough, and again, the Cowboys showed not only are they in form, but I think that they're one of the teams to beat at the moment. As a Storm supporter, I'm not too worried yet. I know that they've been outscored in the past few weeks. At the moment, they've been outscored 68-12. Again, that is relatively worrying signs for some, but again, I'm not too fussed. I think that without Jerome Hughes and Ryan Papenhuyzen there, I think that there are massive holes quite evident in the team. And they also have Christian Welch out, who has left quite a hole in the forward pack. I think that they were really, really dominant when Hughes and Papenhuyzen were there, and I think that they looked better than the Panthers. I think that they were the team to beat, even when the Panthers were playing well. When those two players come back, I think that Melbourne will be just fine. Although I'm not reading too much into it, they do play Manly this weekend, and without Tommy Turbo, if they were to lose to Manly, I would start worrying. But again, few injuries, trying to fix the squad around. I'm not too fussed just yet. The question for me coming out of that game is, are the Cowboys genuine contenders? I know that people would probably only have Penrith as their, most likely team to win the comp this year. But I came out of that thinking, man, the Cowboys are actually a shot. I think that they're the perfect mix of youth. They've got a lot of young backs. They've also got plenty of experience in the forwards and in the, halfback position in particular with Chad Townsend. I think that they're built really, really well. I think they've got a great bench. They get plenty of impact off. They've had some standout performers this year. I think Scott Drinkwater has been superb. To the point where I think he's one of the best fullbacks in the comp right now. Maybe not best, but definitely at least, most in form. You've got Reece Robson, who is easily having his best season of his young career right now, and Ruben Cotter, the 23-year-old prop, who at the moment is a smoky for Queensland. They're not the only three players playing well for the Cowboys. I think that they are three of the most impactful players, and they're definitely going to be the ones to watch as the Cowboys push forward. And I think that they're going to play some of the biggest part in that team in order to try to make a push for the finals. I think we could honestly see Ruben Cotter playing for the Maroons in a few weeks' time, which is pretty exciting, seeing as, at the start of the season, I don't think many people would have known his name, and now he's already being thrown in the mix of kind of, the best props in the NRL right now. Really exciting times ahead for the Cowboys. I don't think we can make an assumption just yet on whether they're going to win the premiership or not. I think that, being a relatively young team, a few injuries could derail them. However, I'm really liking what I'm seeing, and, only time will tell how good they can be. On to the Bronx Nation. I think it showed great character beating the Knights as well as they did without their key player, Adam Reynolds. Before the game, I get mates messaging me all the time now because of the show saying, hey, there's an injury, blah, 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 who do you back? And I was a little bit unsure because I know the Knights can be good when they're on, even though they're playing pretty poorly this season. But even with Adam Reynolds out, I was still quietly confident that the Broncos could get the job done. Particularly with the way Tyson Gamble's playing, and obviously we saw the debut of Ezra Mann. I thought that the Broncos looked really good. There were some shaky signs, but once they started running the ball and started moving the ball well, got some roll on from the forwards, they looked unbelievable. And again, when you have Selwyn Cobbo playing like this, I think you're always a chance. He dominated again. He's got to be in contention for that Origin spot. In my opinion, the past 2 weeks I've been saying that I think he's, on the fringe. I don't think that you can deny him the wing spot now. You've got to move some pieces around just to get him in there. That win now puts them into 5th position, and with the Titans coming up this week, we could see them jump as high as 3rd. The Cowboys are playing Penrith, so assuming that Penrith beat them, Broncos, we could see them moving into 3rd position, which would be unbelievable, seeing as at the start of the season they did struggle a little bit, particularly when Adam Reynolds was finding his way in the team. On to the Panthers now, who picked up a good win over the now 7th place Roosters. Obviously the Panthers fans had to jump on TikTok and let us know that they won because, they don't win enough, to just sit there and remain humble. In all seriousness, though, the Panthers are looking so good right now, and the defensive errors that I spoke about early on in the season look to have cleared up. Their young outside backs, Tago and May, look to be getting more and more comfortable and confident in the NRL each week. They certainly, in my opinion, have started to look stronger defensively as well, which is only going to make the Panthers stronger in the long run. I think this team will only go as far as Nathan Cleary and Jerome Luai want to take them. To be honest, I think that they could take them all the way to the chip again. I've been quite hard on the Panthers only because they are such a good team that I kind of had to nitpick any little errors or weaknesses that I believe I can see. However, they keep looking stronger and stronger, and the craziest part is I still don't think that they've played their best footy yet for this season. I still do think that they are beatable when the Storm and the Eels, crazy enough, are absolutely on their game. However, all the defensive errors I was talking about seem to have kind of cleared up. With the Cowboys coming up this Friday night, I think it'll be one of their bigger games of the season. Obviously, when they played the Storm a few weeks ago, the Storm had a few injuries, so it was quite a kind of a pushover game for them. I see the Panthers still being able to put 20 or 30 points on the Cowboys. However, I'm hoping for a close one and hoping for a good game of footy there. In other news around the league, the South Sydney Rabbitohs had a 32-12 loss against the Canberra Raiders. Going from grand finalists last year to now starting the season 5-6 really isn't good enough. Yes, you can say that they've had some injuries with Latrell Mitchell obviously being out and Tavita Totola getting injured on the weekend. However, I don't think it's good enough. I think that the Rabbitohs management would be feeling real stupid right now. Look, obviously they had to do something with Adam Reynolds and they decided to let him go. You can't blame them for trying to, bring in the youth and bring in Lockie Ilias and Blake Taff. However, I think it would have been smarter for them to try to keep Reynolds around for another year or two, train Lockie Ilias and train Blake Taff, get them more experience and then put them into the squad. Obviously, their lack of experience right now in the NRL is starting to hurt the Rabbitohs. And, with all the losses that the Rabbitohs have had, they obviously lost Dane Gagai as well. They are starting to look weak. And to be honest, look, I see them making the top 8. However, if they continue to play the way they are, it wouldn't surprise me if they miss the 8. And obviously being grand finalists last year, that's not good enough in the space of a season to be going from grand finalists to outside the 8. Only time will tell with this team. And look, Lockie Ilias and Blake Taff should get better as the season goes on. And obviously they've got the forward pack to be strong later on in this season. But, if I was a Rabbitohs fan, I'd be wanting to see some good results soon. Otherwise they could find themselves out of the 8 pretty quickly. On to the English Premier League. What a final weekend of the English Premier League. I don't think anybody on earth can deny that it is not only the most competitive league in the world, but it is also the most exciting league. In the space of a few hours, we saw Manchester City clinch the Premier League. We saw Tottenham clinch the 4th place spot, which was up in the air a few weeks ago. We saw Manchester United barely clinging on to European football. They just snagged 6th place over West Ham, and we saw Burnley get relegated. So 5 to 6 different teams were all moved around later on in the day in the space of, a few hours. I was at Cheers Bar on Sunday morning, which is a Liverpool supporters bar in the city, for those of you who don't know. And there was a brief period where Manchester City were trailing 2-0 to Aston Villa and Liverpool were drawing 1-1 with Wolves. And there was this split second where this whole Liverpool crowd that was there watching the game, we thought that maybe we were on for a Premier League title. Then, of course, Manchester City scored pretty quickly. And from there, the onslaught just continued for them. They ended up beating Aston Villa 3-2. And as a Liverpool supporter, look, it hurt to lose the Premier League title, particularly when it was that close. But at the same time, as a fan of football, I love good football, and having a dramatic final day like that, it was awesome. Again, you never like losing as a supporter, but, the English Premier League just goes to show why it's the most competitive and exciting league in the world. In the end, Manchester City were too good, picking up their 6th title in 10 years. And with Erling Haaland, one of the best strikers in the world, going there next season, to be honest, I could see them adding more. I'm hoping for Liverpool, to be able to win one and hopefully send off Mohamed Salah or Sadio Mane. It looks like one of them are going to leave in the next off season. So fingers crossed Liverpool can come away with it. But Manchester City are just looking too good at the moment. And again, with Haaland, it's going to be a really interesting Premier League season next year. And on to the NBA. A week ago, I said that I believe that the Boston Celtics were going to come out of the East. However, I thought that the Miami Heat were going to give them a hard time. And a lot of people called me an idiot. A lot of my mates said I had no idea what I was talking about. And not only did we see Miami Heat come away with the first win of the series, we also saw them come away with the third. Although the Boston Celtics equaled the series 2-2 this morning, I do really think it's still up in the air. I think it's anyone's series. Obviously, with Jimmy Butler being injured, or at least carrying a niggling injury, I think that it does lead more so towards the Boston Celtics, like we said last week. However, it is up in the air, and I think this series is just going to come down to two things. It's going to come down to how the Miami Heat are able to contain Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. If they can limit them both to, less than 20 points each game, I think they've got a pretty good chance. And it's also going to come down to, in my opinion, Jimmy Butler's injury. If he's able to get through the series without this injury continuing to nag him, I think that they do stand a chance. Obviously, we saw a massive Game 1 from him, which pretty much gave the Heat the momentum going forward in the series. I think it's anyone's series at the moment. A Jimmy Butler injury and the defense that Miami Heat play on Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown will be the deciding factor coming out of the East. As predicted, the Warriors are absolutely dominating the Dallas Mavericks at the moment, even with Luka Doncic being able to put up 40 points and having some ridiculous games so far. The Warriors are leading 3-0. The craziest thing is, if you are a Mavericks supporter, you can watch your team limit Steph Curry, you can watch your team limit Klay Thompson, you can watch your team limit Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins, but they somehow still continue to win. Luka put up 40 points yesterday, had a brilliant game, and you still watch 4 or 5 different players on the Warriors being able to put up, 25 plus points on a night out. The Warriors really are unbelievable right now. They are my current NBA champions. Don't see them being beat anytime soon. The finals are going to be unbelievable this year. I think that we're going to see an underdog team come out of the East, whether it's the Celtics or the Heat, and hopefully they can challenge the Warriors. I don't see the Mavericks even picking up a win in this series. And, again, a week is a hell of a long time in the NBA, and only time will tell. And that's the end of the Feb4 Sports Show. We've tried to condense it a little bit this week, keep it a little bit more brief and to the point. Thanks for tuning in. As always, we appreciate all the love and hate we get in the TikTok and Instagram comments. Let us know if there's any sport that you want us to talk about. If you're into fucking fencing or you're into pool or you're into any of that weird shit, let me know and I'll do my best to watch it. I'm also a fiend for a table tennis multi or two. So if you want to see any of that stuff, let me know. So for the Feb4 Sports Show multi this week, look, we obviously lost another leg. Hawthorn beat Brisbane, and although it was a really close game, as your Feb4 multi leader, after losing 5 of the last 7 multis I've put up, look, it's not good enough for me. I'm going to take a week to reevaluate, rest the loins, get a little bit better, hopefully bring you some absolutely incredible value next week. Obviously, the road to 10K is still on. We are going to win 10K. We all know it. I'm not going to take a break from punting anytime soon. However, this week, I just want to rest it, get a clear mind, and then go into next week and, win 10K in 10 weeks' time. So no multi this week. Give me a chance to reevaluate, reassess my life, the degenerate I am, and, bring you guys more value than ever before. I appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. This is Tom Nicita signing off, episode 7 of the Feb4 Sports Show.